Red bus is like my first wife.
First wife. So second wife?
My wife.
Okay. Hai, selamat pagi. Selamat datang di Red Talk Indonesia. Kali ini kita punya tamu yang bisa dibilang sangat spesial. Orang nomor 1 di Red Bus untuk Indonesia. Selamat datang Pak Danan.
Selamat datang.
Ya,
Oke.
selamat datang. Apa kabar Pak?
Mantap betul.
Mantap betul.
Ya.
Nah, kali ini kita akan berbicara dengan Pak Danan dalam bahasa Inggris karena beliau berasal dari negara yang berbeda, tapi beliau sudah lama di Indonesia. So, Pak Danan,
Yes.
first of all, thank you for having us here, and I believe you already been in Indonesia for quite some time.
Yes.
So, I think the first thing that we love to know, like, can you tell us your background? Who are you? Why you come to Indonesia?
Okay. So basically, I am a banker.
You are a banker.
Yes. So then I
Okay.
decided to leave the banking industry and
Alright.
join a startup. So
Join the startup.
Red Bus happened to be a startup whom I know through a friend of mine.
Okay.
And then when I joined Red Bus in 2009,
2009.
2009.
Okay.
So initially I was finding it very difficult because the industry was very challenging.
Okay.
But then I started to fall in love with the industry. I started loving the bus industry.
So that question, Pak Danan, you said 2009 you moved to bus industry. Let's say a startup. But when people say it's falling in love, right? What is the reason?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
bus industry
Yeah.
is one critical industry for any country. Because
Critical. Okay.
for me a bus is like a mobile phone. It connects people.
Okay.
Right? Today, not everybody can travel by flight. Not right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Agree.
people have to have some transportation
Okay.
to go back to meet their families.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And that is what bus does. So bus actually connects people,
Okay.
right? Bus actually gives employment to so many people. Look at the number of drivers.
Yeah.
Look at the number of conductors,
Yeah.
office staff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the bus industry also gives employment to tire companies, manufacturing companies. So when you look at the industry overall, it is completely
Okay.
changing an ecosystem, right? And when there was a problem to get solved, I think Red Bus was one company which I really liked, saying that okay, we could solve the problem for this industry and make this industry grow.
Awesome. So, in other words, you love to help people actually,
Of course,
right? Helping people is one of your reason.
Yeah.
And you love that job. So, how long you been in Red Bus, Pak Danan?
Okay, 11 years completed.
11 years.
Yeah.
Now you're 12 years.
12 years. Yes.
And you're still in love.
Of course.
Okay.
Red Bus is like my first wife.
First wife. So second wife?
My wife.
Okay. So Pak Danan, you've been like almost 10 years in India with Red Bus, right? And
Yeah.
then suddenly you are appear in Indonesia. Boom, like that, right? So what is the reason?
Okay.
And second question, why Indonesia?
See, okay.
Yeah.
So, Red Bus actually, so I had managed Red Bus, this supply bus operators for a long time
In India.
In India. So I know the problems.
Okay.
I know the problems. And to understand the problems faced by the operators, you need to have experience.
Okay.
It is not easy,
Okay.
right? Because it is not about a professional relationship. It's all about personal bonding.
Personal bonding.
With the operators, right? Okay. So why Indonesia? The reason why Red Bus chose Indonesia was one, we know that the market is very nice. Okay, it's a industry which is going to grow,
Okay.
keep growing. Indonesia has only major two modes of transportation. One is flight,
Okay.
because it's an island, right? So train is not much. So then bus is there, and people love bus here. Okay, what I love about this country is that there are bus communities so big, like Hispania. You have so many communities, right?
All right.
Bus lovers,
Yes.
which we don't see in any other country.
Only in Indonesia.
Only in Indonesia.
Even in India,
No.
you know that.
No, I have seen this only in Indonesia.
That's shocking.
And we know that there's an opportunity, and we also found that okay, we can grow along with the industry, right?
Okay.
We should help the industry.
Okay.
We should grow along with the industry,
Okay.
and that was one of the reasons why Redbus came into Indonesia. And I came in because I know that the bus industry is still offline, and my experience would help.
All right.
Yeah, to do my best for this country and for the industry.
Wow. That's really tight. But there are stories like this. If we ask you like your experience in India, I think it's like nobody will know because it's happened in India. Correct, right? So tell me one specific moment that you will never forget that happened here in Indonesia with, let's say, a bus owner, or let's say when you're doing your job here. What is your special moment? It can be a happy moment, it can be a sad moment, it could be like a really unique moment that you can never forget. That moment is like, okay, even though I leave Indonesia one day, that I will never forget.
Okay, so there are many happy moments. Okay,
Alright.
right. For me,
Guess
life
what?
has never no sad moments.
Okay.
Okay, I don't believe in being that, but I think the first happy moment, if you ask me, was that when we signed up a bus operator to use our system.
Alright.
Right. Okay. So in India also we also had the difficulty, right?
Okay.
But when we signed up our operators to use our system, and when they come and tell you that okay, this system is really helping us to grow,
Okay.
you feel so happy, right? Because Redbus is one company, right, which is only doing bus, right? Okay,
No other thing.
nothing, another thing, right? Okay, Redbus is very unique that way. We are only for the bus segment. So when you look at that, that is one happy moment. But if you ask me many happy moments, I think
Most special moments, not happy.
okay,
Moments
most special moment.
that even when you leave Indonesia, you won't forget.
Okay, I can't do. Okay, probably when I think one happy moment, special moment for me is could be when my Central Java team, right?
Yes, Central Java Timur.
Yes, okay. Called me and said they signed up the bus operator called Haryanto.
Okay.
Right, that's a very special moment for me because I have met the operator 3-4 times personally. They were
Okay.
completely against online, right? They were not for online systems, but ultimately when
Yeah.
the team was able to convince them,
Okay.
and the sort of training that team did
Okay.
for 1 month,
Okay.
very aggressively,
Okay.
right? I think that will remain very close to my heart because that moment,
Okay.
that special moment, right, has given confidence to Redbus, saying that okay, we can do this.
Okay. I think it's a hard work and God grace. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
All right. So, Pak Anderson leave business.
Uh,
I want to ask you, will you leave Indonesia?
if you ask me, I don't want to.
You don't want to.
I don't want to.
Tell me
love,
one good reason why you love Indonesia.
I love the people.
You love the people.
And simple. I love the people.
Why you don't love people in India?
It's not. I love everybody,
Yeah.
but I feel the people here are so nice.
Okay.
When I mean nice, I always see them happy. I always see them content.
Okay.
Right? Okay, I always see them smiling, right? Because I see, wherever I go, I don't see anybody showing any anger.
Okay.
They take life very easy and calm. I like that attitude.
So Indonesian people is like peaceful.
Yeah, I feel I really like and it's a beautiful country also.
Cool. So this is going to be like really straightforward question, Padanan.
Yeah.
So with your experience, let's say you have been in Indonesia for almost 2 years,
2 years.
right? So if you can rate, which is the nicer places, right? Because I believe you already been like to so many places in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
Right. So tell me three rate, for place, right, in Indonesia. Which are the city that you love most
Okay.
in Indonesia?
Okay. So the first city I like personally
Yeah.
is a place called Bukit Tinggi,
Bukit Tinggi.
Yes.
Bukit Tinggi in Sumatera.
Sumatra.
You've been there?
Yes, I've been there.
Okay.
Why I like that place? That I feel that place is very relaxed, beautiful, scenic mountain view,
Okay.
and weather is very good.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
and-
cold, yeah?
Yeah, it's cold,
Yeah.
and I like nature.
Alright.
Okay, so that's the first place.
So Bukit Tinggi.
Yes.
Second?
Second place would be for me. Actually, so I usually go for my family to Lembang,
Lembang is in Bandung.
near
Alright.
Bandung.
Alright.
So that place I like again because my kids like the place.
Okay.
I also like it's very scenic
Okay.
nature.
Alright.
The third place, if you ask me, uh, I really don't know. I can't say Bali because I don't like places with a much of crowd.
Okay.
Okay, but probably since I have a very good colleague who stays in Jogja,
Alright.
so I
you
would
love
say
Jogja.
I say I love Jogja.
Cool.
Third most place.
So coming to another question, Pak Danan, one day if you have an opportunity to choose between, not to choose actually, to get a Indonesian citizenship, right? Then will you do that?
It's a very sensitive question. It depends on, at least at the end of the day, my wife. I believe that I have to, she has sacrificed so much for me. So, if she is okay with it, I am okay. It depends.
How about me? Skip your wife, but how about you?
I am okay. See, I love this country.
So Pak Danan will be Indonesian citizenship one day
Yeah.
and living in Bukit Tinggi
Yes.
and always go to Yogyakarta,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yes.
All right. So my last question, Pak Danan, since Redbus is here, right, and I think it's a new aggressive startup which is really helping bus industry. And what do you see actually Indonesia in next 5 years from now in terms of bus transportation, in terms of the ecosystem? With your experience that you already you become the pioneer in India, right? What do you see as 5 years from now?
I think bus industry will always have a great future because if you look at it, you cannot open many airports, you cannot open many train stations,
Okay.
right? And the only thing that can expand is road. More highways come up, right? You have the toll highways that come
We have a
up.
good highways.
And
Yeah.
the government of Indonesia
Yeah.
is really building.
Yeah.
Today, Jakarta to Padang was close to around 50 hours.
Yeah.
Now it has come down to 38 hours. 12 hours you are saving because the government is investing in infrastructure of roads,
Okay.
right? And when you keep doing that, when the population also keeps growing, right? People will choose land transportation
Okay.
and buses,
Correct.
right? And I see that the bus industry will keep growing. Okay, will grow to a good extent, right?
Yeah.
Where I think the future of the bus industry looks very bright for in Indonesia. It's a great industry. It is an industry which serves a lot of people, and I am very bullish that bus industry will be a rockstar industry for.
Next 5 years I mean like bus industry will really grow,
Of
right?
course, we
Really
want
grow.
bus
And
industry
you have
to
a really confidence on that, right?
absolutely no doubt.
See. And one specific question, Pak Danan. Why bus community? Why all the bus lover? Why even the people that never use bus? Why they have to use Redbus.
Okay. So, for a bus customer, okay, one is as we solve problems for the operator, we also want to understand the problems of the customer. So, what does the customer have a problem? Customer has actually problems like, okay, he has to travel from, let's say in a city like Jakarta, he has to go to all the way to the terminal to buy a ticket. But if he can buy a ticket from his office, or from his home,
or
through the mobile, right? And the good thing is, what we say is that the pricing is the same. At the end of the day, online pricing is not different, offline pricing is not different. The pricing is the same. And we want to give customers a good user experience. So if you want, Redbus is building on a lot of products, features, right? Today we have multiple payment options. Customer can pay through Alphamart, Indomart,
easy payment.
easy payment options.
Yeah.
Number two, we also want to give customers the experience of a Gojek or a Grab, where people can track their bus live.
Oh,
Just imagine if customers have to go to the terminal or stand at the boarding point for 1 hour and the bus is late. Now we are able to give the live tracking feature. People can see, right? Okay, oh, my bus is 1 hour late, so I can relax,
okay.
right? Plus, a lot of user experiences which can make their journey memorable, right? That is more important.
So in other words, like it is all that have been said by Pak Danan, use Redbus, guys, because like it's different, really different.
Yes, yes.
So for the closing, Pak Danan, since you know all the community of buses in Indonesia, and here we have a viewer that might be not a bus user. So can you say a word to them?
Okay, those who are not probably bus users,
Yeah.
okay, please travel by bus.
And use Redbus.
Yeah, bus industry needs all our support because even during the pandemic, I know travel industry has got impacted.
Yeah.
So people, all of us are now preferring private cars. Okay, but even when I travel or when my team members travel, we still travel by bus.
Great.
Yeah, because we believe that bus is safe.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no worry about it. The bus operators are disinfecting the buses. There are some bus operators who have put EPA filters to the buses, social distancing steels. So people are taking precautions. And I believe that bus travel is safe. Okay, you should enjoy bus travel.
Safe and enjoyable. Pak Danan, terima kasih.
Terima
Ya,
kasih
terima
banyak.
kasih sudah hadir
Thanks
di
for
Laptop
hosting me.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
Semoga sukses terus.
Yes,
Alright.
take care.
Bye.